drops keep falling on my head. But that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
You know how to do that.
So I am here with my beloved Uncle Pat and Aunt Therese Mahoney, and my
I'm a nut.
I'm a nut, and my dad Thomas, and my wonderful mother Kathy Nutt. So okay, and I'm asking Aunt Therese. I was asking you about Grandma Mary Louise.
Yes.
So
That
tell me
went by
about her
Louise.
musical background again.
Well, she had lessons from the time, she was real little, up all the way through school. And she had piano lessons. And her mother was a pianist as well.
What was her name?
Her name was Carrie. Her actual legal name was Carolyn. Anne Caroline.
Anne Caroline, and her last
And that's
name
who my
was.
sister Carol was named after, Anne Caroline. And my
What was her
sister
last
Carol,
name?
Her name was, her mother's name,
Yeah.
last name was Nolan.
Okay,
Carrie Nolan.
okay.
She was Anne Caroline. My sister Carol was named after her. But my sister Carol went by the name Carol. And then she changed it to Carol A. because she went by her middle name. Well, I go by my middle name, but I refuse to change my name to Therese Deare. Okay, so it's Deare Therese. So I've just told even online, I'm screwed up with my name because.
I go pick up your script. Well, what?
Yeah, who is
You
she?
say
It's
Deare
Deare,
or
it's Deare.
Therese?
That's
So
my
Deare
name.
is your middle name.
It's my first name.
You just D-E-A-R-E.
Deare.
And
Yes.
where did they come up with that?
Well,
Well,
Grandma.
she told me last
Yeah.
night. I
Well,
asked,
Grandma had trouble bearing children after Michael, and they were worried that she would even make it. So when I was born,
Wow.
Grandpa wanted to name me Deare Therese, and Ma put the E on the end because it was stupid. But the reason that I have to give the rest of it, don't I?
sure.
The reason my name is Therese and not Teresa is Teresa, which I told your brother Mark's wife on the day of their
Terry.
marriage,
Yeah.
that you are now, your legal name is now Teresa Nutt, which spells there's a nut.
Oh.
And that's why I am not a Teresa. So I
That's
was
right.
named Therese.
Yeah.
But anyways, Grandma and her mother, the men in the family, as Uncle Frank would have told you, must have been the women must have been real bitches because all the men disappeared. They either died or they disappeared. And so my mother's mother was a single mother and had 2 children, one of which was my mother. And but she was very musically organized, and she was the bookkeeper at Lancaster Theater. Isn't that the name of the town in
Yeah.
River Rouge?
Well,
And would fill
Jefferson
in
Avenue.
for silent movies.
She played the organ?
No, piano.
Piano,
Just
in the
piano.
background.
Yes, in
Wow.
the background. And so she would fill in. In one time, my mother's mother was sick and was supposed to fill in, and my mother had to fill in.
She must have been, what, 20 years old?
She said she was like 16.
Oh.
So she was playing the background music for silent movies. Wow.
So she only did it once, my
Mhm.
mother. And her mother did it a dozen times or whatever was the
That
film.
would have been
But she was the bookkeeper.
around 1920.
1920-ish.
Oh, early, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yes, because Mom was born in
1903.
Yeah.
1903.
16,
So this
yeah.
banjo, by the way,
Yes.
she always told me, I always assumed, but I'm not sure she told me in detail, that she got that when she was a teenager.
Huh.
Before she got married, and she kept it through all the moves and everything else. And I can tell you this, I was shocked and it's in that letter, that when I married Pat, it was a few years later, and Pat's the banjo player, right? Yeah, okay.
Oh, you still are, if need
No, it's
be.
not, yeah, if he had to be.
I
probably
injured my
could.
finger. And it
He
just
injured
got
his
to be-
finger, he is one playing. So anyways, well, that's another story. But She, where she kept this, I'll never understand, because all of a sudden,
You didn't
And
know
this
she
would've
had.
been-
You didn't even know she had it.
no idea she had that.
Hey,
No.
Until when?
I never knew about it until.
After I got married, and it had to have been, so we got back, it had to have been in the 70s. She said, I have something that I want to give you for Pat. I was shocked. She gives me this banjo. Where the hell did this come from, Ma? And Pat strung it. I remember you.
We
wanted-
actually set it up.
Yeah, and she helped him tune it, because Pat was a 5-string banjo player. You knew a tenor,
I
but
had
you
played
had
it.
trouble
I had
tuning.
played a little bit of a tenor, and I probably knew how to.
Yeah,
To
What's
tune
the
it.
tenor?
but you were having trouble with
Four-string,
it, and,
yes.
and Ma helped you do that. And then, and she wasn't called Mom or anything, it was Ma.
Yeah.
And so Ma helped you with that. I remember that. And you cleaned it up, and you restrung it, and you played it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then over the years, it just got put in a closet, and that was it. And
Because
it's
I
been in the
went to
closet
I
ever
went to a
since,
5-string,
okay?
which is a different tuning.
And when we moved here, it came out of a closet, and I thought, I gotta find somebody to give this to, but I don't have anybody in the family that's into stringed instruments. And I don't wanna just give it to anybody, you know?
Yes.
So, you got it.
Oh, we are honored.
Well,
Oh,
it's a tenor banjo is what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
It's a
mentioned
banjo. This is called, it's a Bacon banjo. It's a good company that was in existence.
It could be 100 years old.
really?
Yeah, it's in that neighborhood.
Wow.
She
And it's
did.
in
We
pretty
did a
good
little bit of
condition.
googling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But,
band.
but the Bacon Banjo Company was getting merged and bought out and all of this, and there was a screw up on, this is what I finally determined, there was a screw up on the serial numbers. So they can't depend on the serial numbers to define whether or not it was a true original Bacon company. But it says it's a Bacon.
It
says,
appears to be.
on the back of that banjo, it has
Yeah.
Bacon Banjo Company, Inc.
Wow.
But the city that it is, Groton, Connecticut, is when one man, Vega was his name, who
Day.
did the Vega banjos, had joined the company. He wasn't part of the company, but he had joined the company, and it was manufactured in Connecticut. So there's some
Well, they changed the
squirrely
name.
stuff.
Day.
For a while, that's another guy that got involved. It was called Bacon and Day Company. This is definitely before Day was involved. But Day was involved in 1922. So I don't know when
And
it
it says
was.
it's identified as a Bacon
Bacon
Banjo Company.
Wow.
Bacon Banjo
Okay.
Company, Inc.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jonathan may want to look.
I'm
it up.
sure he will.
I've looked it up. It got so convoluted
It's of interest, and
with
then,
all
you
these
get into,
people
it's got a
involved in the
serial
Bacon
number.
Company.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got a serial number, and it says specifically Bacon Banjo Company, Inc.
So-
And it's an open back. It doesn't have the wood
resonator.
resonator that fits on the back of a banjo. And it's I
It's not-
say
it's not a-
you're pinning it down to about, when you said teenager, you pin it down into the
It's got to be the 19.
1917,
years old.
1918
Wow.
or something like
It's got to
that.
be.
It's, best we can
That's very
define
special.
it. It's kind of cool, really.
Very cool. We are honored that you guys would pass it on. That's-
Well, it's like she say this.
It'll stay in the
So
family.
my mother
Family,
said it
yeah.
was when she was very, very young.
Huh.
And so the rest of that was my assumptions.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Okay.
So I don't believe she was married, because there's no way in the world my mother would have been able to pay for an instrument or gotten an instrument once she was married.
Or your dad would have pawned it.
Yeah, he would have pawned it at some point if he knew it was.
Sad.
You know where
I expect she did.
that was
'Cause
probably
he pawned the
stored
piano.
on the third floor of
Yes.
the house in Lafayette. That's where all
Yeah.
the junk was up there.
Yeah.
Considered junk or antiques.
Yep,
So
no,
she-
sure, you're right.
She wouldn't
Stuff.
have had. I never saw it in the many years that we were out at the store
Neither did I.
in the 40s. And
Neither did I.
Why did you not see it? She didn't want.
didn't even know about it until Therese mentioned it the last
She
Oh, I see
apparently
what you're
wasn't
saying.
playing it.
I never saw it, never heard, knew a thing about it. You when you
Neither
mentioned
did I. When she showed up with that, we lived in Livonia.
it in the
Was it back that
1970s.
far?
When we lived in Livonia, she showed up with that. And I was like, where in the hell's she been hiding this all these years? I mean, I was stunned. I just looked at it. I mean, I was stunned.
Well, it's a basic banjo. It's nothing, you know,
Nothing fancy.
special. Didn't have all the
It's
fancy.
just old and has history.
You know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
needs to be cleaned. But you know,
But it looks
like
in
I said
relatively
in
good
here, if it's
Yeah.
just a hang on the wall, if he keeps it, great. If he's not interested.
Oh
give it
no
back
no
to
no
me.
we're keeping it in the family. So if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
That's
So
the plan.
it's staying in the family.
That's
so.
the plan.
Yep.
Good,
It's staying.
good,
It's staying.
excellent.
It's
Well,
staying in the
even if
family.
it isn't worth a lot, it's got a nice story.
Oh, we
Well,
love it.
One other thing that just came out is that you were born in 1965. Pat and Therese
Yeah,
were
we-
married in 65.
Yeah.
I already,
You
I
were
already
at the
hammered.
No, that part was not recorded before.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
now
you're
it's
right.
said, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that,
you were
that's
at-
a
you
wee
were-
bit of
you
humor.
just
Yeah,
didn't
when
know
we
it.
were looking at, yeah.
That's
Your
fun.
mother was very pregnant.
Yes. Okay.
What
So
other
you've been
questions?
married 57 ish.
Has to be. 'cause
Right?
It was 1965.
I know. I had to remember.
January 2nd, 1965.
Okay. Yeah.
And your mother was very pregnant. When's your birthday?
March.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
it wasn't
She
that
was very-
long after you were
That's,
born.
Wow.
that's an interesting thing to
He
know.
was-
Oh, it is. I
he was
love
married
it.
48.
I love it.
But then he was married to Donna for 17.
Okay.
So put
Wow.
them together, he's been married his whole life.
So let me
Yeah.
see. I'll keep reading this
Yeah.
thing in case I have more questions. Okay.
Yeah.
You said when Grandma, and this is a letter from Aunt Therese to Jonathan, and really it's for our whole family, so we really appreciate it. But you know, all my kids too. When Grandma was young, she was gifted this banjo. Getting married and having 8 children interrupted any further dreams she may have had that included her love of music. So do you remember playing her? Did you guys have a piano?
We did
Yeah.
until somewhere between, I figured I had to be between 10 and 12.
And what happened to it? Or you guys moved?
Grandpa sold it.
Yeah, they were poor.
I understand.
Yeah.
Was that, what was that like? Did she express any?
She didn't say much. One thing, I think you can support this. She never said much.
Yeah, she never really complained to me, you know, and I was there
She was a saint.
a little bit longer, you know, been around her for a few more years than you.
And by not saying much, you mean that she didn't complain or she didn't?
Right.
I mean, she conversed, she talked, but
Oh, yeah.
she wasn't a complainer.
Yeah, not at all.
Well, keep on
Okay,
going.
yes, I will. I always, this is back to the letter, I always thought this banjo was made somewhere between 1906 and 1922, but
It could have been used when it was given to her. too,
right,
you know.
but I'm not sure of that. In the late 1960s, Grandma gave it to me after I married Pat, an accomplished 5-string banjo player. Even though it is stamped Bacon Banjo Company in Company, Groton?
Groton,
Yeah,
Connecticut.
Connecticut style CSN 169-150.
I
Yeah,
recorded the serial number.
beautiful. So that serial number is 16915. That detail hasn't helped me discover any further detail about the convoluted history of Bacon Banjo Company
Yeah.
and this particular model. In the 1920s, Bacon merged and became Bacon and Day, and later incorporated other banjo manufacturers.
Yeah, it ended up that Vega, which is a very, very famous name.
It's old
Vega
banjo
banjo.
maker, yeah.
Vega.
Well, they were
Vega.
popular. They were popular back in
Vega
the,
went to
the
work
20s.
for Bacon,
Oh.
from what I've discovered.
He was an employee.
Yeah, he was an employee of Bacon, but he obviously was a designer or a luthier. Is that what they call him?
Luthier? Oh, that's I
The
haven't
lu-
heard
you
that
know,
word in a long
The
time.
luthier, the ones that build stringed instruments.
Yeah.
So this Vega guy ends up joining Bacon, but I'm not sure if it was before or after it became Bacon and Day, D-A-Y.
Okay.
I seem to think that it was after Dave merged with Bacon.
Yeah, and then there's another company that got involved in a big.
Dretch.
Yeah, Gretsch, you're right. Gretsch is the name. And they had, some of them used the same builders of these
Well,
instruments.
they were more noted for they made banjos, but they were more noted for
For the
guitars.
5-string.
For
Oh, guitars, you're right,
Oh,
guitars.
Guitar manufacturer.
Okay. Let's see. This says, I hope you will appreciate its history, definitely. If only to hang it on a wall and tell tall tales to your own children and grandchildren. Yeah. Well, they'll be playing it. So 4 of our kids also play
That's my
the guitar.
plan for my hockey.
And 2 of them, or 3 of them have played the ukulele as well. So this
Okay,
is,
very
this is
excited.
neat.
What's next?
The
Very
uke,
close, very
yeah, the
close.
uke banjo is another family story. Pat's mother
Yeah.
and her significant other, whom we appreciated dearly for his attentiveness to Pat's widowed mother, found this in a flea market. Wow. It had been abused. So
Yeah,
they
it was in terrible shape, apparently.
so they took it to a music store and had it totally reconditioned and gave it to Pat for Christmas sometime in the late 1970s. Your grandma, my ma, taught Pat how to tune it like a ukulele.
She's, yeah.
Well, I think a ukulele and a tenor banjo are tuned the same. It's been a long time since I've done these. done
And
this
this
stuff.
says, I won't be insulted if you're not. No, I'm not reading that part because they want it. But if you're not, okay, no, we're keeping it in the family. And then you say, love Aunt Therese. Yes, it's staying in the family. That's exciting. What a gift.
Pretty cool.
Thank
Now,
you.
that ukulele's interesting too, the uke banjo. Did
Yes.
you see that thing? Have you ever seen
I
one?
haven't been. I mean, I just popped it in, so I didn't look at it closely. But
It's different looking too.
It needs strings and stuff.
Yeah, well, it has strings on it.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
that's pretty. That's
Well, I
pretty
mean,
exciting.
They stretch.
Thank you for sharing that and for giving that to us. We really
More than
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
It was Teresa's idea. It
I
was
can't
her
believe
idea.
nobody else in the family got into music.
So yeah, tell me. So who else? What about your siblings? Who did music?
Nobody.
Why not?
Don't know.
Don't know. Especially when Grandma was so into. I was learning to play the piano. Okay, so I mean I can read music,
Yes.
but I can't play music. But my grandma taught me how to read music. I can read music.
Did she teach the others?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, not that I know. I
Okay.
remember the old piano there in Lafayette.
Yeah.
It must have came from when we moved out on the store in 47.
I would think so, but then
Yeah, going forward, it's just you and Jeff.
Wow.
As
this
it
is
spread out,
interesting.
you know, as it spreads out your family.
I forgot.
And
I
then it, yeah. So all of our kids, all 4, so they all know the piano because I taught them some, but then they took from other teachers and I mentioned to them I've never met an adult who says I'm so glad I quit, taking lessons and stuff. So they all played all through high school. They still play.
Now this is interesting. I would be interested in knowing if Donna, your mother, was aware that my mother played the piano so beautifully. If that had any influence on her of hearing the piano and wondering whether or not
Oh.
to get you children involved. I was never in a situation. We were never. Wow, this is hard to even explain. When my parents were breaking up, and I never knew if my dad lived there or not when I came home from school. We moved 7 times in 2 years.
Wow.
So, in that period, I am not sure if my mother had any influence on anybody in terms of the music end. Because the piano was gone, her life was a mess. Because I still remember when we moved into the Chamberlains. The Chamberlains, we rented an apartment from them
Next door.
next door, and they had an organ. They had one of these big old organs in their vestibule. This was in one of these old-fashioned homes that had this monster vestibule. They had an organ, and my mother was so excited that this organ was there, and she would sit down there and play that organ with Mr. Chamberlain. The 2 of them would be down there pounding this organ.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-story house, and you could hear it all the way up to the 3rd story. And I remember laughing at Mom, Mr. Chamberlain down there playing the organ.
Mm-hmm.
And that was organ music. And that was the first time I remember her getting re-involved with music
Yes.
since my dad sold the piano,
Yeah.
which was on Lafayette.
Well,
No.
none of Lisa's cousins played.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do any of
you
my,
recall
are any of
anybody
my cousins?
interested in music?
No, and that's what shocks me to this day.
I don't think so.
That shocks me
I
to this
never
day.
heard Natalie talk about it.
You know what? At Aunt Dell's memorial, Jasmine, our youngest, is going. Well, Scott's going to oversee the memorial service.
Yes.
So Natalie asked, and they asked that. But Jasmine's going to do some music with her guitar and singing there because Natalie
be
wanted some of that
beautiful,
too. So that'll be nice. There'll be a little bit of music at the memorial. But anyway, none of my cousins, I don't know.
No,
You know,
I
on
don't think so.
on my mom's side, they did vocal things that you probably remember,
Yes.
singing a lot.
Oh yeah, they were singing all the
And
time.
I don't know.
Aunt B was in
Yeah,
singing
and
again.
I wonder. I don't know if they did keyboard stuff. Do you remember?
No, I don't think they
so.
did.
I just remember them.
No, I
singing.
do not think
So
they did.
it's pretty cool for my kids. You know, Autumn, Jonathan, Victoria, and Jasmine. That their great grandma, right?
Yeah, that's
their
a
great
great
grandma on my side,
Yep.
and their great
She was an accomplished
and
pianist.
their grandma on the
She
other
was.
side. Yeah, both were pianists.
Yeah. And I remember her playing on Lafayette. I remember.
Did she
her.
sing too?
Kathy, did
Nope,
your
not at
mother
all.
play?
Your
at all?
mom played.
Okay, now this is a different family. But
That's
my
okay.
mom played just like your mom. They could play anything by ear
Yeah.
because
My mom
they,
could read music.
yeah,
though, too.
and my mom too, and they both played the same way. And I remember when they met for the first time, talking about the history of playing the piano like that.
Wow.
You know
And
what Ma learned? I'll never forget this. And I had a piano at our house for a while. I was never on, and I got too busy and I couldn't take lessons. But anyways, I remember her favorite song. She went and bought the sheet music for it. Was Raindrops Keep Dropping on
Mm.
Falling on
Falling
my
on
head.
my head. I can remember her playing that. She loved that. And then there was another one that was 77 Sunset Street. Still.
Ah,
She used to play that. But when I was a kid, she played classical.
right.
That's what I remember her playing was classical.
And that's all I learned. That's all I knew or learned until I married Scott, and we started to do some things in church, and it was very different. I mean, you can read notes with but there's chords and things like C, D, you know, which might. That was really different for me. I have a question, Kath. With your mom with piano, so she could play anything, and I'm trying to remember. What about her family, like
I
her
don't
siblings?
remember because see, Mom was a change of life baby, so her parents were a lot older, and I only remember meeting her parents one time in my life. They died that I know. My grandmother died when I was 12, and my grandfather right after. And back then, you didn't travel 150 miles because that was a
Now-
long trip.
Now, how did you learn? How did you
Well,
learn to play?
Mother started me at piano lessons when I was 5, and I took for 1 year, and I quit because I was stubborn. And I said, my piano teacher, she goes 1, 2, 1, and she spits in my face, and I'm not going back. And I'm upset to this. Yeah, that's exactly what she did. And I was upset with myself, like you said, any adult that they put
Mhm.
piano
No, I was
lessons in.
playing for a couple of years, and then
Yeah.
I lost it all. I can still pretty much read music. I mean, I can tell this.
But she told me that I should have stayed because I could play by ear. I can
Yes.
still pick out some things. I play my famous 5 songs, but I could if I had learned more of the chord progressions.
What are the songs you still play?
I don't even remember the names.
Do you?
of
But
them.
do you have the
But
Our
you would
Father?
guess- I
at
have
home?
the Our Father as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can even play that yet.
that
but
was really pretty.
I taught myself that.
And then we
played
did-
guitar for a while.
I played guitar for a long time.
Yeah, I
When I
thought you
lived
did.
in
yeah.
LA, I played a lot, and I belonged to a group out there. We were called the Hay-Dashberry Rejects. What was our name? It was a company group.
And what was your group?
Yeah.
Bridgeport
The
Ramblers.
Bridgeport
And
Ramblers.
we played at a lot of company functions, and it was fine. And I mean, the guy that I dated, he was from Michigan State, had a big group of people, and we would go out all the time and have campfire parties. And I always played and sang. I just never thought about it. I still have my guitar. I don't think I can play it anymore, but yeah, I played a lot when I was younger.
Oh, you might inherit that too.
Hey, that's
Get another guitar.
that's fun.
Actually, there was a group called.
That won't
I
tell
can't
you how
remember.
much money in banjos Pat has.
Right. There was a famous
You got three.
guitar group in LA that sang songs.
You got three
And we
important
met
ones.
them
Big, I
at a
got the
party,
one for it.
and he liked my guitar better than mine and wanted me to trade. And I
Wow.
said, no, I'm going to keep mine.
Yeah.
Vega
The,
has
the
the
neck of
most
it was
value.
broken, but it was
Oh, it
broken in
does.
such a
I
way that
think,
it
well,
didn't affect the way the
it
guitar played.
goes all
But I
over
still
the
have
board.
it.
Oh, that's cool.
Sometimes
This
more.
one here might have that.
You guys,
Well, it's close.
you might like to know this. In Clare, and these guys know this. In the summertime, they have concerts in the park, and July 7th, Jonathan and any other Harpers that are around. Usually there's a few. He's going to do a concert in the park in Clare, and so he incorporates a bunch of instruments. But it's pretty neat that the banjo will.
Well,
Be in his
bring
repertoire.
along the,
He might.
the uke banjo
He
because that's a fun
he
one.
might. And you know, Uncle
And
Pat.
it's easy to haul around.
Oh yeah, I have memories, Mishabo, and I have memories. You guys would take all of us nieces and nephews to get ice cream. Yes,
Oh,
and I have memories in a station wagon.
oh geez. Those are
And we'd
really
go get ice cream,
amazing.
and I have memories of you
Wow.
playing and singing. You guys would sing.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah,
we
what
were
were-
singing on.
Which
yeah.
is in the 70s.
So you
Yeah.
played the banjo, and you guys would sing together. Yes,
A little bit, yep.
with the nieces and
Yeah, we
nephews. I
did
just
for
loved
years,
I
that.
don't know if you know Louise, her daughter Kim died, and
Yes.
she's raising Victoria. Victoria has a fantastic voice. She went to this gifted and talented school, and they had a tryout for the choir, and she tried out when she was 5, and the teacher says, "Oh yeah," and she sang for her, and she went, "Oh my." But anyway, she now plays like 7 or 8 instruments. She's 13
Ah.
because Grandpa, my sister's husband, plays just about every instrument on the planet.
Yeah,
And so
Dennis.
Victoria, he teaches Victoria, and she plays all these instruments, and she sings, and she writes her own music. I remember when Kim died, my niece, we were taking her someplace. Victoria was in the back seat, and she was writing a song about how her mother died. And I mean,
Oh,
Denise and I
man.
are sitting in the front seat with tears rolling down her face because the song made so much sense. And at that time, she was like 5 years old.
Mm.
But she's always been gifted like
Yeah,
that.
see that, you know, it's kind of interesting. I have never been. I never really enjoyed a lot of guitar music. I just don't
You mean listening or playing?
listening. Don't enjoy it unless it is.
Welcome home, Pat.
Folk?
No, no,
Do you like
no,
the
he
folk?
knows that.
Oh, okay.
No. I love the banjo, not the guitar.
Ah.
Pat's a banjo player.
Oh,
He
okay.
plays the guitar because that's more versatile. But I am not impressed with the guitar unless it's the flamenco shit. Okay, the picking.
And
See,
the, and the
Oh.
Segovia type
He
stuff.
will pick with
Classical.
he will play when he plays the guitar with banjo picks.
You
I
heard of him?
love it.
Could you play
No, anytime-
anything, Uncle Pat? Could you play anything now or not with your hand? Like if you brought a little
I
something.
haven't
It-
played in
okay.
so long.
Okay, one
And-
more
and
story.
They're not tuned.
When
Okay.
I lived in LA, I decided to take classical guitar lessons. So I started, my teacher was taught by Segovia. We were just talking
Big
about
time.
it.
Segovia,
It took me
he does
3
good
weeks
things.
to learn how to
He's-
hold the guitar so I could play it. In about my 6th or 7th lesson, I was in a kind of a bad car accident and was without a car for 6 weeks, and I just kind of lost
Oh.
interest because it was so complicated. But that's the story.
Emerson
Segovia
Segovia is
taught me how
good,
to
yeah.
play.
But he does picking, but he doesn't use picks. He uses his fingers, right? Segovia.
Oh yeah.
It's just his
Classical,
fingers.
Pure classical.
Pat's
Pure
friend,
classical.
his Jewish friend. Remember we were talking earlier. I said I
You got to
never-
qualify him, right? He's
I
Jewish
never-
guy.
I've never understood anti-Semitism. Pat's best friend is Jewish, you know.
Mm.
But anyways, he always used
He used to
the
build
stuff you
his-
use on your nails.
Yeah, he used to
Yeah,
build
and
his.
sometimes they put a
build his
metal
nails
clip on
up.
their fingers.
No,
and
well,
they
that's
can
what he
pick.
does. But no,
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
friend uses the stuff that you use in a beauty parlor to
Oh.
build up
Phony-
your nails.
The phony nail.
Acrylic?
Yes, acrylic.
Yeah.
He was doing this back in the
Wow.
60s, building up his
Yeah.
these three with acrylics. So he always looked like
'Cause he
some
had-
weirdo.
He had
With
been
these acrylic
he'd been
nails.
schooled in classical
And
guitar.
he played his 3
Yeah.
fingers, and they were picks. And I used to watch
I don't even
Stewart
think I
play.
can remember where my guitar is.
Yeah, it's over there. It's probably dusty.
Oh, it's terrible.
Mine didn't.
But
Even if you play anything, I'd love it. Even just a couple notes.
but he uses banjo picks on the guitar. Love it.
Oh.
I just don't like straight guitar music. It's boring. to me.
I don't either.
Sorry, it's boring.
But it's fun when
But
you're
when
sitting
he
around
does
the
his
fireplace.
picking with the guitar, I'm mesmerized by the
Ah.
picking. But I'm
Oh.
mesmerized by 5-string banjo. When in his
He was
heyday,
always talented.
he was phenomenal
Yes.
with 5-string banjo.
Yes.
And I just love that picking. You
Well,
know?
wasn't his favorite thing Puff the Magic
I-
Dragon?
that-
they
I
used to
remember
do that for the kids.
And
Yeah.
They just do
I
that for
never
the
knew,
kids.
you know.
That's what it meant.
I didn't
either.
know, you know, I didn't relate to it. We all loved that.
My husband told me what it meant.
Oh.
Because I probably didn't know either until at least you know
Yeah.
what that is.
I didn't know for a long time when you used to play it in front of all you kids and that. and
Neither did I.
Everybody loved it.
I was an adult before I went, what is it? Oh, really? Been singing that for years.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But on the guitar, I was spoiled.
While
by
you're
his
doing
friend.
While you're
His
doing
friend.
that, I'm going to find something. Go ahead.
His friend Stuart was such a phenomenal guitar player. I have never been able to listen to anybody else play and enjoy it because he just. I mean, I know Rick plays the guitar.
Yeah.
Bores the shit out of me. Sorry,
It's okay.
it does.
I
Because he
understand.
just plays the guitar like everybody plays the guitar. Stuart played with that 3-finger pick, and Pat can do it with banjo picks. That I am mesmerized by that. That's the only guitar music I like. Otherwise, I like banjo and I like piano.
Yeah,
Oh, God, I love
banjo
piano.
is kind of a little more upbeat in a way, wouldn't you say?
It's happy music.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what I call it. Banjo music is happy music.
Yeah.
And you know, I love it when he has a guitar player and they play the dueling banjos.
Oh,
I
yes.
love that. The dueling banjos.
Wasn't that a terrible movie?
I've never watched it the second time. Never will. It was so disturbing.
It was terrible.
Disturbing. You know the other movie I will never watch a second time?
Which one?
One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. That was so disturbing. Jack Nicholson.
He's a good actor, though, even though he plays.
Do you remember that? He was in the Nutt House. And they did a lobotomy on him and stuff.
Do you remember long ago, Lisa, when we'd have family reunions? Pat always brought his guitar with
Oh,
him.
I do. I know.
But he always brought the guitar because it's versatile.
Yeah.
But that's not what he
Scott
does.
had to tell Lisa what Puff the Magic.
Okay, so
No. Hey, they had a special on talking about that. That Puff Magic has nothing to do with drugs whatsoever.
Wow.
That's what they say it did, but it did not. They had an interview.
should I still
and
record
watched
this,
it.
or is that good?
That's all I remember, because I never knew it.
So here's a little thing. Okay, so I have a few video recordings. So sometimes we have watched their Autumn and Tim's Beagle Dog. So I was and we did this a month or two ago, and I was at our house, and the dog wanted to get up on my lap. So this is, I think. Let's see if it happens in there.
Munchkin.
Is he going to howl with the music? He's going to howl, isn't he?
His dog Munchkin wants a little attention. So my chains are cool. Anyway, I play for like 20, I don't know what. But I want to find another time when sometimes I play with Theo, and that's kind of fun for him. But so that's something that we share together.
Bigger, I think.
I'll just so let me see. Go ahead, you guys. You can keep chatting, and I'll.
Anyway, they interviewed this. Was it Peter, Paul, and Mary that sang Puff the Magic Dragon?
First time Pat's picked up the guitar since I can remember.
I haven't in years. But they interviewed him and they said it had absolutely nothing to do with pot.
Ever since I got sick, Pat is not playing.
Really?
Yep.
Unable to go.
And I miss it. I know, because he used to play every
yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Every morning he played.
They
Every
made me
morning.
dig out my guitar. I gotta get it strung.
Oh, yeah.
Did you turn that
Oh, this
thing
is
off?
Theo. No, still. This was February. So I'm just playing and he's just looking.
What's he looking at?
He's looking at probably the little phone that's recording him.
Okay.
But he does look at music and words, which is kind of interesting. And he looked at the sharp, lately he's looked at the sharp sign, and he thinks it's something different. But this is just a keyboard that Autumn and Tim have at their house, and it has some rhythms, you know. So we're just trying to do.
Grandma, I'm not interested.
No, he actually.
He's mesmerized.
Yeah.
Because he's focused on something.
Yeah.
So he's focused on the phone recording.
Well, also though he
He's focused on something.
yeah. Well, and
You and Grandma having fun with music and rhythm and laughter and fun.
anyway, that's it.
So now, hard to believe.
Anyway, all that to say it's being passed on. So that's
He hasn't picked up the guitar since I can remember.
so it's been quite a while since he's
Long
been
time, years.
really.
Years.
Wow.
How long have you had this issue?
My issue. The first time.
Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.